Hi guys, I am Raghav Grover. I am Microsoft student partner and Microsoft specialist in HTML5. Today we're gonna start with isolated storage in Windows Phone 7, and I have a predefined layout which contains two text box and two buttons. First text box that will contain the file name, and the second text box will contain the file content, and I have named the two text boxes as shown on your screen. And we have two buttons. Button 1 is save and button 2 is read. Now let's quickly define their click events. We go back again. So isolated storage is a storage that is accessible to every app, and it is named isolated storage because it is not shared between the apps. So isolated storage is accessible to one app. So to use the isolated storage, we have to include two namespaces, that is using system.io and using system.io.isolated storage. So we include those namespaces. Now in the click button of our save, now in the click event of our save button, we define an object of isolated storage as variable store is equals to isolated storage file dot get user store for application. So what this function will do is it will return an object that will give us an access to the isolated storage, and you can see all the functions that are accessible through this object called store. We can copy file, create directory, create file, delete directory, delete file, and so many functions are accessible over here. So this store gives you an exclusive access to the isolated storage of the app. Our next thing is to define a file that will be within this store. So we will write it as variable file is equals to store dot open file. Store.open file is a function that will let us create a new file, and you can see the Visual Studio IntelliSense. It is first demanding the path. Path means the name. So our name will be file name.text. This is coming from the text box that we have defined earlier in our XML layout. Next, Visual Studio IntelliSense shows us file mode, and it shows these options. It is an enumeration, so it shows these options: append, create new, open, create, and truncate. So here we are saving the file. That means we are creating a new file, so we can use create. Next comes the file access. So it again is an enumeration, and it gives three types in it: read, write, and write. So here since we are again saving a new file, so we have to have an access as write. You must be thinking that why I have used this using keyword, and I have defined my variable inside this using keyword inside the parenthesis. This using is to dispose of the file object automatically as soon as it reaches this closing curly brace. So file will be disposed of and will be released, and the memory will be released with the help of this using. So again we will use this using keyword, and we will define a stream writer object to write our contents into the file. So we write variable write sorry, is equals to new stream writer, and on what we have to operate this stream writer will go inside the constructor. So we put in here the file. We have to put the contents of the stream writer into this file, so the file will go into the constructor of the stream writer class. Now we will use the function of the stream writer to write our content into the file, and the content comes from the text box, file content dot text. Now to obtain a confirmation that we have saved, let us show a message box that the file has been saved. Now we come to our click event of the read button, and here we will use our same code, as almost the same code as we have done above, and we will define a stream reader class so that we can read from a file to a string, and we will show that string in a message box. So we will use the code above. Now the modifications will be here. In file mode we want to just open and not create, because here we are reading a file, so we have to open the file, and the file access will obviously change from write to read. Again we will define a stream reader instead of stream writer. So stream reader is equals to new stream writer, new stream reader, and from where this stream reader will obtain its content, that goes into its constructor from file. And message box, okay, let's store it in a string. String s is equals to stream reader dot read to end. Now we can message box this string out to see the content that we have saved in our file. Now let's try to run this application and let's see if it's working or not. So here we put the name of our file. Let's name it first, and here we put content of the file, and let's click the save button. So now we have got the message box and it says that file has been saved. So we, keeping the file name as same, we click the read button so that we can see what content was saved into the file. So we click on the read button and it says my first file. So we have successfully made an application that uses isolated storage, and we have saved a file that contains the name from a text box and has its content from a second text box.